This conference will now be recorded.
So to begin with the demo, I'll quickly take an example of an application called WebTours, which is given by the Microsoft Microfocus, Microfocus team. So this particular application, is specifically used for for our LR classes actually. So I'll quickly launch this application first. I've launched this application first. So I'll try to log in first and see, how it works. So I'll log in with user ID and password. I log in with user ID and password, and then I'm able to see the home page, and then I'm signing off again. So this there's a sample of launch, login, and log off functionality. So let's assume I assume most of you or some of you are functional testers or the manual testers, what we say, from that background. So what these functional testers would do generally is they test the functionality of the application. They test the functionality of the application. When I say functionality of that application, for example, if I want to know whether this particular application is able to log in successfully or not, so to verify if the application is able to log in successfully or not, so that we call it as some part of the functionality. So I'll quickly log in and see in the same way. So I'm using the user ID and password, and then I'm clicking on login. So I'm able to see the home page here. So the function the main the main motto of the functional tester is achieved here. That means validating whether the home page is displayed or not. Validating whether the home page is displayed or not. This is the actual functional part. But as a performance tester, as a performance tester, I'm not interested to know. I'm not interested to know the functionality, overall functionality only. But what I'm interested in knowing is I'm interested to know how much time it has taken. Just a second. So I'm interested to know how much time it has taken for the login to happen. How much time it has taken for the login to happen, and for the home page to get displayed. How much time it has taken. That is where a performance tester is more interested. That is where a performance tester is more interested. So he is more interested in capturing the response times. Okay, when I say capturing the response times, he generally wants to know how much time it is taking for the login to happen, or for the launch to happen, or the logout to happen. So basically, how do we capture these response times? Basically, how do we capture these response times? So we capture these response times. Okay, manually we can't do. Can we do manually? Can we capture the response time manually? If it is for one time or two times, we can do it. Okay, or if it is for one user, we can do it. But if it is for 500 users, or 500 people at a time logging in, and they want to capture the response time, can we do it manually? No, right? So that's the reason there should be some tool, or there should be some tool or some script which will generate the code for us, and which will automatically capture the response time for us. Which will automatically capture the response time for us. So the easiest way of capturing the response time is by recording with one of the load runner component called Vusion. With one of the load runner component called Vusion. Okay. So guys, one important note is I have muted everyone. So if anyone has any questions, just ping in the chat so that I'll unmute, and again I'll take the question. Okay. So now, so what is the easiest way of recording? So the easiest way of recording is, we should have one script, or one tool which will generate the code for us, and which will help us in capturing those response time. How much time it has taken for the login, or how much time it has taken for the launch, or how much time it has taken for the log off, or something like that. Okay. Now this particular thing we will achieve by using one of the load runner component called Vusion. Okay, I'll quickly launch the Vusion. Okay, this is a Vusion component, launch page. Whenever I launch the Vusion tool, okay, this is how it looks. Okay, this is how it looks. This is one of the component of the load runner where we will do the recording of the script, where we'll generate the script. Okay, where we'll generate the script which will capture the response time, which will capture the response time, how much time it has taken for the launch or login or log off, depending on the functionality it will capture. Now the main advantage of this particular tool is we can record once and run as many times as we want by doing some minor changes to the script. Okay, the main advantage of this particular Vusion tool is we can record once and run as many times as possible, as many times as we want by doing some minor changes to the script. Now it generally whatever the actions we perform here while recording, we can mimic or we can repeat the same as many times as we want. Okay, so now whatever I've shown you manually, the launch of this particular WebTours application, which is given default by load Micro Focus or the HP, previously HP, now it is Micro Focus. Now the same thing, the launch of this application and the login of the application and the logout of the application, I will try to record using the Vusion. I'll try to record using the Vusion component. Okay, now I'll create a new script altogether. I'll create a new script altogether using the Vusion component, which will help us to capture the response time. Okay. Now I'll simply say something like July, something like July demo. Okay, and I'll set the protocol as web HTTP HTML protocol here while creating the script, because we are working on the web application which supports web HTTP HTML protocol. There are different protocols altogether which we will discuss in detail about in coming classes, but for time being just assume that because we are working on the web application, we'll continue to use web HTTP HTML protocol. Okay, and I've given the script name as July demo, and it is stored in this particular location, and I'll create the script, and I'll click on create the script. Okay, now this is a script. This is the page where it will navigate after clicking on create. So the left hand side, okay, the left hand side is the solution explorer. It has so many options available, but for time being just understand that whatever the script we generate will be captured in this particular action. Whatever the script we generate will be captured in this particular action, and over here the script will be displayed over here. Okay, now we'll see how to record the same launch, login, and logout functionality. So there is an option over here called record. Okay, now I'll click on this record button. Now as soon as I click on this record button, I'm able to see a pop-up window which is giving me some options. Okay, if you see the first option, it says where to record. Okay, where to record, this is the place where to record. Okay, this is the place where to record. In the action place we are recording it. Okay, and then what is the browser, and then what is the browser you want to use. You want to use Microsoft Internet Explorer, or you want to use Chrome or something. Then this is nothing but what is the URL that you want to use for recording. When I say URL, probably it could be like facebook.com or something, but the URL which I have given here is the URL of the WebTours application, URL of the WebTours application given by the Micro Focus. Okay, and then probably ignore this working directory and everything. Okay, so now I'll click on start recording. Okay, so as soon as I click on start recording, there is a movable window. There is a movable window which has popped up. Okay, and we could see that there is a particular number over here. Okay, there is a particular number over here which keeps on increasing as soon as I perform some actions on the screen. As soon as I perform some actions on the screen, this number keeps on increasing. Okay, why it keeps on increasing is when it keeps on increasing, what it means is this particular Vusion tool is able to record all the actions, whatever I'm performing. Whatever actions I'm performing, Vusion is able to record those actions. That is what it means. Okay, that is what it means. Now, what I'll do is, okay, I'll create some of the transactions over here. Okay, for time being, just assume that this these transactions are nothing but if I want to capture a specific time for launch, login, and logout. Okay, launch, login, and logout. I have to tell Vusion what is the starting point of launch and what is the end point of launch, and what is the starting point of login and what is the end point of login, and what is the starting of logout and what is the ending of logout. Where should I start and where should I end? So that I have to tell Vusion. So then only it will be able to capture. For example, here I have already launched it, so I just want to capture the time taken for login. So here what I'll do, I'll click on the start transaction, and I'll give the transaction name as WebTours application name underscore login. This is the transaction name that I want to record, and for which I want to capture the response time as well. Okay. Now after entering the start transaction, I will give the username as username and password over here, and then I'll click on login button. Now, as soon as I clicked on login button, I'm on the home page now. I'm on the home page now. So now, as soon as I'm on the home page, okay. Now I can click on the end transaction. I can click on the end transaction now. Okay, I can click on the end transaction now. Now I'll generally sign off. Okay, I'll sign off, and then I'll stop the recording as well. I'll stop the recording. So now, as soon as I stop the recording, Vusion is generating the script for me. Vusion is generating the script for me. See, it has generated this particular piece of code. Okay. Now I'll for time being I'll ignore these unnecessary things which are which got recorded and which are of no use, but for our purpose. Okay. So now if you see wherever I have given the start transaction, it has added that particular line over here. See, start transaction WebTours underscore login. See, this particular line got added over here, and it ended over here. LR and end transaction. This is start transaction of login, and this is end transaction of login. So which means this is the code, this is the code used for login purpose. So now I want to capture the response time for login. Okay. So before that, I'll do some additional tasks, so that I'll be able to run smoothly without any issue. Okay. Now I'll run this script. Okay. I'll go to some runtime settings and okay. So I'll run this script. So now after executing this script, I'll be able to see how much time it has taken for login or something. Okay. See, the execution has passed. Okay, the execution has passed. If you see for the login, it took 0.2 seconds, 0.267 seconds, 0.267 seconds. Okay, it has taken 0.267 seconds. Here also you can see in output log in the line number 47. If you see here, the transaction WebTours login ended with a pass status duration 0.2666 seconds. Okay, and we also have something called wasted time here. Basically it is calculated internally by LoadRunner. It is time spent for keeping transaction statistics for reporting. Okay, which is not included in the response time, the actual response time which is captured. So this is how we capture the response time of a particular transaction. Now this particular transaction time which I have captured for login is just for login purpose only. This is just for login only. So how much time it has taken for the login functionality is 0.267 seconds. 0.267 seconds. Now you might get a question like, generally what is the standard, time that it will take or that we should accept. So the basic industry standard of any response time is, of any web application is, it is 2 seconds. It is 2 seconds. If it is greater than 2 seconds, that means the application is little slow. Now here, what is the response time that we got? 0.2666 or 0.2667. So which is less than 2 seconds, right? So that means this application is performing, better. This application is quick. Okay, that's how we can conclude. Now, if it is greater than 2 seconds, then we can say that the application is little slow. Okay, now this whatever the thing I have done is only for one user. Okay, now we in the same way we have to perform for multiple users. In the same way we have to perform for multiple users. Now we understood why performance testing, right? So generally performance testing is performed to evaluate application performance under some load. When I say some load, with multiple users. Now I have tested with one user, and in the same way I have to test with multiple users. Okay, like for example 500 users logging in at the same time, or 1000 users logging in at the same time, and then I have to capture the login response time, how much time it is taking. Then I have to see whether it is less than 2 seconds or not. Okay, like that. So generally performance testing is performed to evaluate application performance under some load. Okay, now we understood why performance testing, right? So now we'll see why load runner. Why load runner? So basically, there are so many tools in the market like load runner, JMeter, Neoload, and so many tools. But why load runner means, okay, it is the only tool in the market which supports many protocols to conduct performance testing. It is the only tool in the market which performs many protocols to conduct performance testing. When I say protocols, it will support Java application, it will support .NET application, it will support web services, it will support Oracle, it will support SAP, so and so. It will support Citrix applications. It will support so many protocols, and it supports many protocols. Unlike other tools in the market, and there is no tool in the market, which is bundled with these many protocols. And also LR, this load runner tool has major share in the market when compared to other tools. Okay, when compared to other tools.
And here I have one doubt.
Okay.
Can you please open a revision?
Just a second. I'll unmute all. Okay. Yeah.
Can you please open Vision script?
Okay.
Yeah, here we have in Solution Explorer, user init, and one more is user end. What about those two?
Okay. So basically,
Why can't we do? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Please go. Please complete the question.
Why can't we do the record in user int and user end?
We can record. We can record in user init and user init. For example, if I click on, if I click on record, here it will give me an option, where to record, user init action or user end.
Okay.
We can record. It doesn't mean that we cannot record or something like that, but we record. So basically init, init, most of the times we record only login code in that. Okay, so and in the user end we record the logout code, and sometimes we keep entire login, log off, launch, login, log off, and everything in the action only. For example, when to go with init login is, for example, we let's assume a bank employee. He generally logs into this bank application, and he performs all his actions on that particular application till the evening. He will not log out. So only once he will log in the morning, and while leaving he'll log out. Then at that, in those scenarios we can put the login code into init and the logout code into end, and then in the action code we will put the main code which will run for so many iterations. Okay, so so basically this is mainly used for login and logout purpose only, but we cannot rename these things. Okay, we cannot rename this user init and user end, but whereas we can rename this action. We can rename this action. These are by default, user init and user end. We cannot rename those things.
Okay, thank you.
So I heard some of them are not able to hear my voice. I don't know why a couple of people are not able to hear my voice. Okay. So, okay. Now we understood why performance testing and everything, right? So now what we'll do is, we'll see the architecture of the load runner. So we'll see the architecture of the load runner, and we will derive the architecture out of some questions now. We'll derive the architecture out of some questions now. For example, if we want to check the performance of any bank application for, let's assume for 1,000 users. Okay, if we want to check the performance of any bank application or some Flipkart or some, some big basket or something, any application for 1,000 users, then manually you cannot keep 1,000 people at a time by giving 1,000 machines and then check the performance, right? Manually you cannot allocate 1,000 people and give 1,000 machines to them and ask them to check the performance, right? So you need a software, you need a software to generate or simulate users. You need a software which will generate or simulate users or the virtual users to check the performance. This particular software or component is called load generator. This particular software or component is called load generator or agent machine. Okay, suppose this is the application, for example, any bank website. Now this is a load generator. I'll repeat again quickly. For example, if you want to check the performance of any application for 1,000 users, let's assume 1,000 users, then manually you cannot keep 1,000 people at a time, with giving 1,000 machines and check the performance. So you need to have a software or to generate or simulate users to check the performance, right? So this particular software or component is called load generator or agent machine, which will simulate users for us, which will generate virtual users for performance testing. Okay, and all these virtual users will emulate the real user behavior only. Okay, now you might ask me, what are these load generator machines? Yeah, these load generator machines are highly configured machines. They have that good configuration, so that it will support the more number of users. So basically these machines will generate users for us. That's it. Okay, now after this, now we know what is load generator. Now in real scenario, all these 1,000 users for any bank application or for any big basket or any application will not be on the home page alone. So all the 1,000 users will not access only home page, right? All the 1,000 users will not access home page, right? Just a second, someone has pinged me. Okay. Okay, so in real scenario, all the 1,000 users, for this particular application, bank application or big basket or something, will not be on the home page, but in different sections of the website. Some might be, for example, if I take any bank application, some of them might be on the home page, some of them might be, downloading bank statement, some of them might be, paying the credit card bill, or some of them might be changing the account information, like that, right? So in our load test also, we should not always check the performance of the home page or something like that. We should check the performance of different functionality available in the application. We should check the performance of different functionality available in the application. Okay, for example, I can take two test cases. For example, I can take two test cases. Like the first one is for a bank application, a user is logging in, and then he is downloading the bank statement, and then he is logging out. The other test case is something like, he will log in, he will make the credit card payment, and then he will log out. So let's assume these are the two different test cases. Now these are critical also for the business application. Now, as a performance tester, we will check the performance of the application, for which, for only critical business transactions, we will go ahead and check the performance of it. Now, these two functionalities, whatever I have told you, there should be two different scripts in the Vusion. Now for us in the Vusion, there should be two different scripts now. So these scripts, whatever are there, these functionalities, whatever are there, we will generate the scripts using a component called Vusion. Okay, which we have discussed just now. How to record and everything. We have seen, right? So this is a component. This is a component called Vusion. Vusion Virtual User Generator is an IDE. Basically, it's an IDE where the scripting is done for each functionality. Okay. When I say each functionality, whatever the two examples which I have given just now, okay, those two you can guess. Okay. So now we have got one more component as well. Now we have 1,000 users. Now we have two different scripts. Now we have 1,000 users. Now we have two different scripts. Okay. Now we have the virtual users and 1,000 scripts. Now my question is, how many users will execute this test case or test script 1, and how many users will execute, test case 2 or test script 2? Okay. Now here comes the component called controller or the performance center. Okay, here comes the component called controller or the performance center. This controller will control the users against each test case or test script. Okay, for example, out of 1,000 users, I want to execute, I want to execute 600 users for test case 1 and 400 users for test case 2. Then I will segregate that particular thing in the controller here. I will make that configuration. I will make that change in the controller or the performance center here. Okay, now you should get a question like, who will give the number of users? You said 1,000 users, I will allocate 600 to first test case and 400 for next test case. Now you might get a question like, who will give me how many users should I test? So that will be given by the business team or the application team for us. Okay, that will be given by the business team or the application team for us. Now the entire execution will happen from this controller only. Now the entire application will happen from this controller only, controller or the performance center. Okay. Now during this execution, controller or performance center will create a dump of all the results after execution or during the execution. It will create a dump of all the results, and all the results include the errors or the past ones or the failed ones, and all these errors or past ones or results will be captured by the analysis component. Will be captured or read by the analysis component. It will capture all the results and generate some graphs for us. Okay. Now these graphs, whatever it is generating, this analysis component will help us in understanding how the execution happened. And it will also provide the information, various information like what are the different response times, how many users got executed, what is the response time of each transaction, like that. There will be so many metrics that we have to, that will be generated, and we can see that in the analysis component. So on a high level, this is the architecture of the load runner. The first thing, we have the load generator, which will generate the users for us. The second thing is a Vusion, where we will do recording, or where we'll generate the script for each functionality. And the third part is the controller or the performance center, where we will execute those scripts which are generated by the Vusion. Okay. And the fourth component is the analysis component, where using which we'll analyze the results. Okay. The controller will execute, and the analysis component will, with the help of analysis component, will analyze the results. It will generate some graphs, and by looking at the graphs, we'll analyze the results. And after analysis, we will finally conclude, whether it is performing good or it's not performing, or the performance has degraded. Then we will give our observations to the client that okay, these are the transactions which has observed some performance degradation, or these are the transactions which has performed extremely well. So, and we'll provide all the observations to the client. So this is how, the normal performance testing would be done. Okay, this is the architecture. So any questions, guys?